Good evening. Melissa Johnson here for episode 35 of Melissa Loves to Talk. Today is January 30th, 2026, and it is going to be an interesting episode, I think. I have noticed that people don't know a lot of what's going on. So I am going to just show a couple videos of some things um, that people may not know. Uh, I go to a pretty knowledgeable church that usually, well, at least the pastors know usually what's going on. Um, but I've noticed that a lot of people in the church do not know what's going on. I don't really know where they get their news. I've never asked. I don't know if they just don't want to know. Um, I'm not really sure, but I feel that they should know. So, not really sure if they're going to watch this and they're going to see this information, but I'm hoping that somebody that didn't see this gets to see it. So, I'm going to talk about a couple things. Number one, some of it's my opinion, some of it is going to be some truth things, and then I'm going to show you some videos. So, number one thing, okay? If you come to this country illegal, you get deported. Every other country has the same law. You have to have borders. If you don't have borders and you don't have immigration laws, you cannot have a successful country. We do have strict laws to get in here to become a citizen because we have a great country. And honestly, most countries have really strict laws about becoming citizens. Some of them you have to literally, if you're a United States citizen, you have to declare that you don't want to be a United States citizen anymore to be a citizen of another country. We don't make you do that. I feel like you should have to because you need to have allegiance of the country that you are living in. So to me, I think that that should be something you should have to do to come here. You should not be able to be a citizen of another country and then come here and be a citizen because you're not loyal to our country. And that's the main problem we're having right now. We have people that mostly, I'm going to say this, in Congress. We have three people in our Congress that I know of that I've seen say, I'm with Somalia. I'm with um can't remember what country she's from now. Wow. I'm so sorry. I cannot remember what country she's from, but she's with her country that she came from and not this country. You are in Congress. You are to represent American citizens, not your country you came to before. That's why to be in Congress, really to be in any government position as mayor, governor, Congress, anything like that, you should have to be born here so that we know your allegiance is with here. It's hard enough when our own citizens aren't with us. People that were born here, like AOC, who hates us. But when you come from another country and you want to be American citizen and then say you are here for the American people, but don't do that, say you're with the country that you came from. I mean, I just don't get it. Like, how can you come from another country, become a citizen here, and run for Congress, governor, mayor? It doesn't make any sense. You have to be a born American to be the president of the United States. It should be the same for any government official, anybody, mayor, governor, Congress. Maybe city council, maybe not so much, board of education, maybe stuff like that. No. But when your job affects literally your people in your city, your state, Congress, that affects the whole country. You need to be a born citizen. You should not have dual citizenship. Okay. I know they're trying to push for getting that changed. Like I said, the president of the United States has to be born here. Everyone that's a mayor, governor, Congress should have to be born here. You should not be able to have dual citizenship. Okay. So that's why I'm saying is people that come here, it is a privilege to come here. It's not a right. People think you come here illegally. Okay, you come here. Your only crime is you came here illegally. Well, you got in the country by committing a crime. So therefore, I don't really think you're a good citizen. But okay, we'll say, okay, you came here illegally. You got a job. You're paying taxes. Now you have some kids. You have a family. So we should just let you stay here because you slipped through the cracks. You came in during open border season when Sleepy Joe Biden was the president. No. Okay. I know right now the president's focus is getting the criminals out, the actual, pedophiles, rapists, murderers, drug dealers, cartel, whatever. Yes, you start there. You get those people out. Then you turn back around and then you start getting the other illegals out. There's going to be people that you don't get. I'll be honest. There'll be people that probably slip through the crack. They moved. It could be anything. And if they're not violent, it's whatever. I'm not going to be saying, okay, knock on every door, every known address. That's just silly. Okay. But I think that if you definitely are violent, you should be arrested. Okay. So that's what is going on in this country. We have ICE going out, okay, getting the violent people that already been convicted in the jails, people that have warrants. This is what they're doing in every city that they go in. They're not going door to door unless it's people that have warrants. If you have a warrant, for your arrest, they're going to have to go to your door and knock on your door to find you. You can't find you any other way, because that's why they're saying, oh, they're going door to door arresting people. Well, because they have warrants out for their arrest. So yes, they have to go door to door. In Minneapolis, they won't let them in the jails to get the people in the jails. So they're just looking for the people with the warrants. They found the evidence that they had warrants when those people broke into the ICE agent's car. They found the whole stack of warrants. So we know that they have warrants for these people. Okay. So all the other cities, there's ICE agents. There's ICE agents in my city, in the city next to me, there's no riots. There's ICE agents in almost every city by now, at least the major cities, I believe. Most of the major cities. Why is there only rioting in Minneapolis? I mean, there's a little bit of protesting, maybe a little bit of rioting. I think Chicago's ramped it up a little bit, but that's typical for Chicago. I think Portland, again, a little bit of ramped up, but nothing like Minneapolis. So do we know why? Do we have an idea? I'm going to say it's because of the fraud. They're trying to cover the fraud up. And that's why it's the rioting and all this stuff. Okay? So I say we get every illegal out of here. Okay. That is my thought. But we always start with the worst. Like the other day, I did a whole episode and I showed you the worst of the worst and talked about ICE. And that's what you do. You get the worst of the worst out. Then you go back to the people that just came here illegally. They haven't been a problem. And again, there's going to be people that are going to slip through the crack. We're going to miss them because, again, they've moved, they got married, they changed their name. Who knows? Okay. They live with family, so we can't find them. There's a whole bunch of different reasons on why they may slip through the crack. Again, if they're not violent, it's whatever. Okay. It happens. We just really want to get the violent offenders, the worst of the worst. Again, I can tell you the website in case you don't know. You have to say www.dhs.gov/WOW. You have to do www. For some reason, I guess because there's like another website that's like it, I'm assuming. So you have to do the www. I think I said too many W's. Sorry. Because I've tried it multiple times without it and it won't work. And you can look up where you live. If you just type in your city, your state, you can just say your state. It'll show you all the people that's been convicted, and I believe it's everyone they've already deported, but that I'm not sure of. I know they've been convicted. It'll say it on there whether they've been convicted and what they've done. Now, on the front page, it's Minneapolis people. You can see the horrible crimes. These people are fighting for these people that have done horrible things. They've raped children, they've raped women, they've beat women up, they've killed people, they're narco terrorists. It's all kinds of stuff. It's on the very front page. And these are the people that these writers are protecting. Okay? So that's what I'm going to say. My opinion. Get them out. Okay? Okay. Number 2 is the 2020 election. How long have we been told that we are election deniers? We are crazy. We're conspiracy theorists. Everything you can think of since 2020, November 2020, we have been told these things. And guess what we're finding? Fraud in the 2020 election. If you didn't see, Fulton County, the FBI raided their election facility that they built just to hide the files. They built this building in 2023 to hide the files. The FBI raided it, got 700 boxes of ballots, but we're crazy. We're literally loon bins. We thought the election was rigged. Oh, well, at least in Georgia, we know it was. We have evidence. 700 boxes of ballots. Okay? So, point for us. Okay? So, there's my opinion on that. I am in Northwest Georgia, and I am ecstatic that they found those boxes. Again, not sure what'll happen. I'm not going to speculate on what I think should happen or anything like that. Okay. Number 2 is my friends did not know that Don Lemon and some crazy people stormed a church a week and a half ago. Almost 2 weeks ago. Because I'm guessing they couldn't find it on the news that they watch, which I thought was kind of weird because I thought it was even on ABC. But I'm going to show the video. Just in case, they might be watching since they didn't get to see it. And I'm going to show the video. I had a hard time finding a video and I am very shocked. I only have like a 3-minute video, but it gives you the gist of it. And For someone that thinks they know the Constitution, okay, you have a right for a First Amendment. Every single person in this country, if you're a legal citizen, you have a First Amendment right. But my First Amendment right doesn't outweigh yours. So I can't use my First Amendment right to go against your First Amendment right. Okay? We both have equal rights. So if I want to protest, I can do that outside your house. I can be outside your house. I can have a picket sign. I can be yelling, screaming, saying whatever. If I barge into your house, I no longer have a First Amendment right because now I've violated your rights. Okay. And that's what happened with these rioters and Don Lemon, who keeps saying his First Amendment, his First Amendment. Okay. They would have been okay if they would have been outside the church. If they would have stayed outside the church with their signs, yelling, screaming, cussing, acting like fools, they would have been okay. That's their First Amendment right to be protesting. But once they stormed into that building, they now violated that whole church's First Amendment right of freedom of religion. They now committed a crime. If they would have just came in, sat down, which is what they did at first, I did not see that. The woman said that's what they did. They came in, they sat down. Then she asked him a question, which I don't know why in the middle of service you're just going to ask a question. He answered the question, which I would have just ignored her, but he did not. He answered the question. She didn't like the answer, and then they started by what she said. I did not see that in the video. Okay. Again, I had a hard time finding this video. I don't know why. I don't know if it's blocked on my, like some servers block certain things, so it might be blocked. Sorry, that's my cat. So I don't know, but I found this little video. It's about 3 minutes. I'm going to show it. I cannot split screen with the system that I have, so I'll be off the screen and it'll be on the screen.
Investigation by the Justice Department.
An anti-ICE protest made its way into a St. Paul sanctuary during service. Protesters say a pastor at City's Church is also the acting director of the St. Paul Field Office of ICE. The Justice Department says it is investigating the incident, saying protesters violated the FACE Act. That law prohibits intimidating or interfering with people's rights to practice their faith. U.S. Attorney General Pam Bondi has already responded, saying any violations of the law will be prosecuted, adding, quote, attacks against law enforcement and the intimidation of Christians are being met with full force of federal law.
Peaceful protests took place outside the Federal Whipple building just yesterday.
Oh, that wasn't even a whole video. Sorry about that. I didn't know that. I thought it was a whole video. Okay, well, either way, you could see what was going on. It was minimal. I mean, they weren't hurting anyone. They were not physically touching them. They were yelling. They were screaming. They were running around. They were recording, which again, you're in someone's church. You don't have the right to start coming in there and recording them. Okay? Out in public on the sidewalk, they could have. If they would have waited until church was over, the people came out, and they did that, nothing could have been done. Nothing could have been done to these people if they would have just waited until church was over and all the church members came out of the church. That's all they had to do, honestly. No one's rights would have been violated. They could have waited and came when the pastor came out there, and everything would have been fine. But when they came in there and interrupted, started videoing, they violated that whole church's rights. And from what I hear, the church is pressing charges. And they should. Because I'm going to be honest, if it would have been in a red city, most of them people probably would have been shot or tackled or something. So they're lucky they didn't go into a church like that. They went into a church that was not carrying, was not even, I mean, the pastor was sweet as could be. I mean, he was just talking to him. He's like, hey, I'm just worried about my flock. Can you please leave? I mean, he was very nice. I can't say that my pastor would be that nice. He would probably not be that nice. So they knew what they were doing by picking that church. I know they picked that church because the pastor was part of ICE. And they knew this because they stole the information out of the ICE agent's vehicle. And so now they knew that one of the ICE agents was a pastor. So they violated his rights in all kinds of ways. So that church, that pastor is about to have some money. And rightly so, because what they did is horrid. If they would have did that to a mosque, if we would go up into a mosque and start doing that, can you imagine? Goodness gracious, it would have been a nightmare in there. But we're supposed to just be like, oh, okay, you're allowed to just storm and interrupt our service. No, that's not the way it works. This is absurd. And it's not the first Christian church. It'd be different if it was the very first one. Okay, we'll let you go. But how many churches have been shot up? They killed children in a Catholic church. Shot them up. Oh, but that's okay. That's okay. Nothing to see here. Just like the 2020 election. Nothing to see here. I don't know why this is okay and why people aren't making a big deal about it. Probably because they don't know this is happening. People in my church didn't know it happened. And this was almost 2 weeks ago. That's why I was showing the video, but I couldn't really find a good video. So that kind of stinks because I wanted an actual video, but I might have to do a little bit more research and I'll play it tomorrow. But so then now, okay. So of course they said Don Lemon got arrested today. Thank you, Lord Jesus. He got arrested. Don't care if anything happens to him. He got arrested. That's all I really care. Boom. He got arrested. He tried to say, oh, well, his lawyer, we're arresting peaceful protesters instead of investigating the murders of peaceful protesters or whatever he said. Okay. I'm going to show you that both of the people that were shot and killed, which I don't condone. I don't say they deserve to die. Of course not. But they were not peaceful protesters. Okay? Again, I've been to peaceful protesting, and guess what? People were carrying because I live in a state that is constitutional carry. So people are open carry, concealed carry. I've went to a protest when it was people had all kinds of guns because they were expecting crazy stuff to happen. Nothing crazy happened. No one got shot. I've been to Trump rallies where I know people were carrying because we were outside and you can carry outside. Of course, you can't go in with a gun, but outside people were carrying. No one got shot. And you're talking hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people. Okay? That's peaceful protesting. Okay? I'm going to show you what these two people did and prove to you that it was not peaceful. Okay? So here we go. Oh, shoot. Sorry, it closed on me. Let's see if I can find it.
Thanks for being with us here on Live Now from Fox. I'm your host, Christina Evans. We do have to continue on with some of this breaking news that we're now following this morning. I'm going to put this up on your screen. This is courtesy of our partners there at Fox 9 in Minneapolis.
That's not it.
Good
Sorry.
evening from the foot of the Golden Gate Bridge tonight, part of our Live from America tour. But we're going to begin with that new close-range video out of Minneapolis showing Renee Nicole Good alive and talking to ICE agents just moments before one of them opened fire. And the polar opposite political positions on this tonight. The vice president saying the video today shows that the agent was hit by the vehicle and was, quote, endangered. But in Minneapolis, the mayor claimed the agent walked away unharmed with a, quote, hip injury he might as well have gotten from closing the refrigerator door.
Looks like he got hit.
Meanwhile, in Portland,
he fell to the ground. So that was not peaceful. She hit him with her car, and then he shot her, which he had a right to do after she hit him with her car. So there you go. If you didn't see that video, you just saw it. Oh, there's the video. Sorry about that. I'm just learning all this stuff. I am so sorry. Okay, so this video.
New footage has emerged of Alex Pretty, filmed 11 days before he was fatally shot by Border Patrol officers in Minneapolis on January 24th. In the footage, filmed on January 13th, Pretty is seen here, shouting expletives and spitting at a federal immigration agent's car during a protest. He then kicks the agent's vehicle, breaking a tail light. The agents exit their vehicle, and a scuffle takes place. Pretty, on the ground, loses his coat. When he gets back up, what appears to be a handgun is visible in his waistband. At no point do the videos show Pretty reaching for the gun, and it is unclear whether the federal agents saw it. Agents then deploy smoke canisters and drive away. In another video, a bystander can be seen checking if Pretty is okay.
You okay?
Okay, so we have two things here. One is if you attack federal agent's vehicle, that is punishable by jail. Okay, so he literally broke the light out, the tail light out of that vehicle. He really should have been arrested. If he was arrested, he would probably still be alive because he would have been in jail and maybe would have thought about not doing it again. Because this was, what did they say? 8 days before it or something. So if he would have been arrested, then he wouldn't probably have been there again, and all of that would have not happened. Okay, so this was just released, I think, a day or two ago. I thought that I had the other one. I'm going to try to see if I can find the video. I don't know if I want to watch it again, but I'm going to see if I can find the video where you can see why they actually shot him. And again, 11 days. Thank you. I thought it was something like that. I'm going to look and see if I can see the other video where you can actually see. I can tell you what it is. It's okay. He comes over, he starts trouble. Okay. I'm going to tell you when you have permit to carry and it's concealed. When the police stop you, this is what Kyle Rittenhouse did. And this is why he got off with self-defense, because when they came to him, the police came, he put his hands up in the air. And of course you could see his weapon. So he didn't have to say, I have my weapon. You could see his weapon. He had his hands. So he was not a threat because his hands were revealed. You could see his hands. You could see the weapon. When you have concealed carry, and I've seen a lot of videos where people do this, when they're in their car, they get pulled over for speeding. And especially in a concealed carry place, they'll say, do you have any guns in the vehicle? Yes, I have a gun in my glove compartment. Yes, I have a gun in my purse, since I'm a girl. A gun in my purse. Okay, I have a gun on my hip. If he would have put his hands up in the air and said, hey, I have a gun on my right hip, and they could have got it. They trusted him, whatever. He put his hands up in the air and just said, I have a gun. It would have been okay. But he did not tell them he had a gun, and he started being physical with them. And then they started being physical with him. So once he started being physical, and then he started resisting arrest, because if you put your hands on Border Patrol, ICE agent, they are federal agents, okay? That is a felony. I think it is punishable by like 8 years in jail, okay? I think just breaking that taillight out was like a federal crime, and it was like 3 years in jail or something. So, like I said, if they would have arrested him for the taillight, he would have been in jail. Okay. Even if he made bail, he probably wouldn't have went back, because he would have realized, okay, they're serious. They're going to lock me up. Again, maybe if he would have made bail and got out, he would have went back. But again, they should have arrested him instead of being soft on crime. Again, they weren't there to arrest him. That's probably why they didn't. They were just like, well, we're not here for that. We're here to get the illegals out. So they let it go. Okay. Again, they shouldn't have. They should have locked him up, and it would have been a whole different scenario. But again, when you're carrying, you raise your hands and you say, hey, I have a gun on my hip. I have a gun. And they can take it from you or whatever, but you are not a threat at this point when you're doing this. You're not a threat. But if you are being violent, you're not telling them they have a gun, then they see a gun, they feel threatened at that point. You're already being violent, then you're resisting arrest, okay? So the one ICE agent got the gun, nobody knew. So partly I would say that ICE agent, Border Patrol, whatever that the other guy was, I'm assuming they were all Border Patrol. I know the gentleman that shot him was Border Patrol. I'm assuming they all were. It's very crazy. The video's hard to see. Okay. So he took the gun. He probably should have said, hey, I have the gun. He should have, but he didn't. He may have thought, who cares at this point? Okay. He probably didn't think, hey, dude's going to try to reach for it or whatever. So he went to reach probably for the gun because he thought he still had it. He didn't have it anymore, but his clip was there, and it looks like it's a gun. So when he reaches for it, it looks like a gun. They shoot him. Okay? There's the problem. That's why they shot him. Okay? If he would have just, even when he was down on the ground, if he would have just left his hands and wouldn't put his hands in his pocket trying to reach for the gun he thought he had, he would have still be alive right now. Okay? Like I said, either he thought he still had the gun and he was reaching for the gun because he thought he still had it. I'm not really sure. But in the video, you can see it's something black. I don't know if it was his phone. It might have been his phone. He might have been trying to record it, but I don't know. Everybody else was recording, so it didn't really matter. Again, eventually we'll have evidence. I guess will come out. They'll explain it, or they won't. I don't know. But I'm going to see if I can find the video real quick and see if I can pull the video up where, let's see. For some reason, I can't pull a lot of stuff up on this today. Let's see. Let's see which one they want to give us. Well, here's a step-by-step one. Let's see what that shows.
And now that new video, as I said, it is so crucial because it was filmed by the ICE agent involved, but also because in that it is providing an angle we have not seen before. And it does give a whole new perspective. It also, though, raises new questions. Kyung La is going to go through this slowly, bit by bit, out front with this special investigation to look at every piece of video, that one and all the others, to say, what is the story here? And of course, I warn you, when you put all of these together, you will have to see what happened again and again.
Out of the car.
Oh,
For the first time,
not the
we are
right one.
seeing the fatal Minneapolis shooting.
Sorry, not the right one. It looks like the right one, but it's not. Okay. Okay. Sorry, I'll have to actually look. Since it was two of them, I guess that's why. I guess I should have been more prepared. I'm sorry.
Cell phone video shows the moments leading up to the shooting. A federal agent
this is
pushes
even better
a person
because I
to the
didn't see
ground
this
and
one.
pepper sprays them. Then more officers converge and wrestle a man to the ground, appearing to hit him before at least one agent
this is the
opens
one I
fire
saw.
and kills the man.
You can't see anything. And this is what they wanted to show you, and you're going to be like, oh, sure.
The backlash
Border
was
Patrol
swift.
is
Law
actually
enforcement
wrong.
officers used pepper balls and
So-
flashbangs against protesters.
That one actually was a good one because it proves my point. They were literally just trying to be like, oh, yeah, he was in the wrong. He shot him for no reason. You know, the typical fun stuff that they like to do to us. I don't know what to look up. Okay. I'll think about it because I'm like trying to think of what to actually look up. Anyway. There's just so many videos, and it's like I'm not sure the video that I saw where you could actually see, like, again, it looked like the clip and you could see him pulling for it, but I have no idea what to look up. So again, if you want to look it up, you can probably look it up faster than I can. This is all stuff that I'm just learning. I never even used to look at videos. So, anyway, like I said, people at my church didn't even know that the rioters went into that church. Again, I've had people at my church say, oh, if the violence would just stop, because they think it's the ICE agents that are being the violent people. Again, because that's what they want to show you. Look at that video. The video was so, number one, choppy. It just showed them throwing him on the ground. Then it's out of focus. Then it's back. It's like, this is the videos that they show people. So then people are like, oh, okay, it was the Border Patrol's fault. Just like the one with Renee Good. They showed the video. The very first video that I saw was her side of the car, and he's holding onto the car. You hear a shot. You don't see anything, right? So you have no idea. You're just like, oh, they're wrong right off the bat. Then you see the one where it's the front view and it's real fuzzy. I don't know if you saw that one, but it's literally just the front view. It's very fuzzy, but you can see her hit him with her vehicle, but it's very fuzzy. So then you're like, I don't know. Is that what I really saw? Then they show, I think another video I don't remember. Then they show the body cam, which you can clearly see she hit him with her vehicle. Okay. Again, what we didn't know is 6 months before that, he was hit by a vehicle and drugged by the vehicle and got 30 stitches. So he probably had a little, number one, PTSD after that and was just like, oh no, You know, he got hit by the vehicle. It was clearly, when I show you the video of the body cam, you can see. Again, a lot of people haven't seen that video because it isn't going to be on a radio, sorry, not a radio station, a news stream you watch. I don't know what most people watch. I'll be honest, most of my information, most of my videos I see are not from the news. I get them from other podcasters. So I cheat a little bit. I let them do all the research and then I just kind of snip it, and be like, oh, that's interesting. Let me use that. And honestly, I'm not doing anything wrong because they're the news people. That's what they do. They even say that. I'm here to bring you news. My job is to show you the information, right? So I'm not really doing anything wrong because they're the news. That's what they do. I don't do that. I am more of, this is what happened. Let's talk about it. This is what I think about it. Hey, if you want to comment on what you think about it, let me know what you think about it. That's more of what I'm doing. I'm not here to really bring you news. I'm here, again, this time I just went it because I was very curious on people in my church hadn't known that a church was stormed by rioters. Okay, if they don't know this is going on, they aren't prepared if it happens at our church. Okay, we need to be prepared for that. We need to know this stuff's going on. That's the problem here. Okay, number one, churches are clueless of what's going on. This is how we got to where we are. The church sat around and let us get here. Okay, when the transgender stuff started getting pushed, when the LGBTQ stuff started getting pushed, when all this stuff started getting pushed, men and women's sports, men and women's bathrooms. We should have been fighting that. This is the church's fault. We sat by and let this happen. And now the church still doesn't know what's going on. How can they fight it? How can we be prepared? Because now we can't stop it, but we can fight it. It's like, okay, people in other countries, okay? I'm going to use Cuba and Venezuela, okay? So they had a country. It was not necessarily like ours because no other country is like ours. But they had, a democracy. I'll say a democracy. We'll just use that since, that's what most free countries have, as free as it can be. Okay. Even like Australia, Canada, they all have technically like democracies. I think Canada did have some kind of like republic. I don't even know. Okay. They vote. Okay. So they vote for their leader. Okay. Unlike England, they have a king and that king is the king. They pass it to their children. They don't have any children. They pass it to the brother, whatever. Okay. So that's why I'm using a place that votes. Okay. When you vote and they cheat and they steal and you vote for communism, which is what happened in Venezuela. Cuba, I think it was more, they voted, but I think it was more, I think they did vote, actually. So when you vote for communism and you get communism, you can't vote yourself out of communism. Okay? Once you have communism in your country, you can't get out of it. And that's what's going on in this country. Okay? We're voting, not we in general, the general population, okay? They're voting for stuff because they have no idea what they're voting for. Or they don't care because they think, oh, it doesn't matter. Okay? So once you vote for communism, you no longer have votes because they just install the next person, hence Venezuela. Okay? They had an election and Maduro didn't win, but he didn't care. He just stayed in power because that's what happens in communism. Okay? And that's what's happened in Cuba. That happened in all the countries that are having this problem right now. like Uganda. That's where my friend lives. He says, yeah, they have elections, but we already know who's going to win. You're not really voting. The same person wins every year until they die, pretty much, because it's communism. And that's what people fail to realize. I'm going to use the two people that were just elected in November. Okay. Mondami, that's in New York City. He's a communist. Look what he's doing to New York City. Okay. Everything's free. Oh, wait a minute. It can't be free. We don't have any money. Well, duh, because you get your money from federal taxes and your taxes got stopped. You have no more federal funding because you're an idiot and you're trying to give it all away. And President Trump's not letting you give all our money away. USAID or whatever it is. That got stopped. So they have no funding. So now they're bankrupt. Oh, so guess what I'll have to do is now I have to tax the crap out of New York City. Communism. Okay, the governor of Virginia. How do we love the new governor of Virginia? She's literally been in power for what, 2 weeks? A week? And she passed 50 new taxes. She is taxing dog walking. How do you tax dog walking? How do you even figure that tax out? What? I walk my dog. I pay a tax to walk my dog. I don't understand that. Tax if you get food delivered. Tax if you have an electric blower. Tax if, it was 50 taxes. I can't even remember. Dry cleaning. You have a tax on dry cleaning. You already pay your city tax, your state tax. Now I'm paying another tax. Your sales tax. I'm paying a tax to have dry cleaning. It's New York City. You have to have dry cleaning because most of those people work in some kind of office. So you probably have dry cleaning. I mean, this is just crazy stuff. So, I mean, I don't know, but if people don't realize that we have got to vote to stop this from coming to every city, every state, because ICE isn't going to stop, number one. And you have mayors and governors that are fighting with them because the little bit of riots that are going in any city is a blue city. Again, there's ICE here. There's no riots. I don't see any riots. There was some protesters the other day. Okay. Again, you're allowed to peacefully protest. You can protest all day, all night, stand around with your signs. You can yell and scream. Long as you're not throwing stuff at people, which I had happen to me. January 6th, I was in Atlanta, not DC. I was at the Atlanta Capitol because I live in Georgia, and I was there because I didn't agree with, the election. And we were standing on the corner. Well, we weren't really on the corner. We were in front of the Capitol, and people were throwing food at us and spitting on us and cussing at us and giving us the finger. And again, the finger is okay. Yelling and cussing at us, throwing trash at us and food was not cool. That's really assault. If they would have literally hit me, I could have got them for assault. But we were just standing there, nice and peaceful. And that's okay. You're allowed to do that. You are allowed to do that. You can peacefully protest every day of the week. Stand outside with 8 signs. And again, if you live in a place where you can carry, you're allowed to carry as long as you're peaceful. Because that's another thing. Everybody's like, oh, he's saying we're not allowed to carry. In Minnesota, apparently I've had two different things. Somebody said you can't carry, even though you can have a carry permit, you can't carry at a protest. I don't know. Either way, nothing wrong with carrying at a protest if you're going to be peaceful. But again, he did not have his ID. He did not have his carry card. When you're carrying, you have to carry those things in a state where you have to have it. Again, here's constitutional carry. You don't need all that. You don't need any of it. You just carry your weapon because it's constitutional carry, which is really how it was meant to be. Hence, constitutional carry. I mean, I believe all 50 states should have it. But you live in a blue state, you get blue laws. Okay? So, again, this is what mainstream media does to us. Okay? Even me, sometimes I'll hear something, I'll believe it right away. Well, most of the time I don't believe it because I'm pretty discerning and I usually can say, that doesn't sound right. That isn't right. But there are things that I've heard that I believed. And then I was like, you know what? Let me look that up because I'm not sure. And that was like Fox News, sometimes Newsmax, again, they get stuff that's not always true either. Or they're coming to conclusions that they don't really know the answer. Okay? So this is the problem that we're having right now. That's why I said, what is mainstream media not telling us? What are they hiding? Okay? They're hiding a lot. They lie to us a lot about a lot of things. Okay? Just like they said, they had a First Amendment right to go into that church. If they would have sat down and they would have just sat there and been quiet, yes, they had a right to be in there. It's a church. You have a right to come in and sit in service. If they would have stayed outside and if they would have been yelling, screaming, acting crazy outside, they had every single right to do it. But once they went in there and started yelling and screaming in the church, they violated every single First Amendment right of the people in there, every single person. So then they did not have a right to be there. And then, like I said, the video of the body cam, okay, the fraud. I mean, there's just so many things that people don't know about. So this is a real problem that we have. We need to be researching and knowing what's going on. And especially if you're going to vote, I mean, be honest, just don't vote blue. I can tell you that. I can't tell you the exact red person to vote for, but just don't vote blue because that governor said that she was running on affordability and she's done the opposite. So you can't trust them. She said affordability when she added 50 new taxes and their energy bills are about to go up. The one woman that was in a video today, she said her utility bill was usually $200. Her new bill was $600. Okay? That's 3 times. Here, my bill, I have 4 bedrooms, 2.5 bath, $125 is what my utility bill is. I just have electric. I don't have gas, but it's $125 for my electric for 4 bedrooms, 2.5 bath. Now, my water and sewer is a little bit high, but hold on one second. Sorry about that. Anyway. So yeah. So this is, I'm just going to tell you like it is. The Democrats, libtards, whatever you want to call them, I call them libtards, or lefty lulus, they're going to lie to you, and they're going to tell you that they are about affordability. I have not seen it yet in any person that's won in the last year, that they are making it cheaper for their constituents where they are. I have not seen it in one place. I can tell you who is making it cheaper: President Trump. Okay. Now, if you live in an area, okay, I'll explain that also. Again, mainstream media won't tell you this. Okay. Everything is cheaper federally. Okay. Which is all Trump can do. Okay. Our president can only control federal. He cannot control in your city, in your state. He cannot, because again, people think that the Civil War was just about slavery, but no, it gave each state their own right to run their own state, which is why we have mayors and governors, because they have a right to run their city and state how they want to run it. Okay. Unless they're breaking federal laws. But he has brought inflation down to 2.7. It was 9. Okay. Now, the interest rate has only come down, what, a point? Again, he cannot control that. Unfortunately, that's the Federal Reserve. He cannot. He has been pushing and pushing for him to lower the interest rate, and he's barely lowered it, which in May, we're hoping to get a new guy in there, and hopefully, well, he or she, I don't know who it's going to be, will lower the interest rate. Okay. So he has brought down gas prices. If you haven't noticed, if you live in an area that your gas has not come down, I'm sorry, because gas has come down at least $1 to $1.25 where I live. Sometimes $1.40. It just depends, because some areas it's a little bit cheaper than others. Okay. I'm on the line of Georgia, Tennessee. So sometimes I'm in Tennessee, sometimes I'm in Georgia. The gas is usually cheaper in Tennessee. Okay. It's just the way it is. But it's relatively, like I said, normally it's definitely $1.20, $1.40 cheaper than it was this time last year. So again, that's federal. That isn't your city, your state. Okay. There's places it's under $2. So that tells you it's cheaper. If you live in a city or a state where your gas is still $3, $4, that has nothing to do with Trump. That has to do with your city, state representatives. Again, like I said, there's places it's $1.89, $1.79. Texas, Oklahoma, stuff like that. Theirs is $1.79. I see it on people's podcasts as they'll say, how much is your gas where you are? And I'll see it in the chat, and it'll be all kinds of crazy cheap prices. Again, where I said, I'll tell you, by my house, I think it's $2.25. Okay. Down the street, it might be $2.35. It's relatively what it is, give or take. Okay. And then I think, in Maryland, where I'm from, now, honestly, that's a blue state. So the last time I was up there around Christmas, it was, what was it? Trying to remember what it was. $3.49, $3.69, which honestly, still cheaper than it was last year. Can't really remember. I think it was $3.69, $3.49, something like that. Again, still not bad for a blue state. Okay. Now, where my parents live, it's red. They live in a red area. So that might be the reason why it's a little bit cheaper. I don't know. They don't live in Baltimore City. But like I said, all he can do is control the federal stuff. If you live in an area that's more expensive. That's not President Trump. Again, what mainstream media won't tell you. They'll say, oh, prices are so high. I thought Trump was going to fix it. Again, he can't fix 4 years of outrageous policies in 11 months. We're now in the 12th month. So you can't fix crazy policies, especially when people won't work with him. You have, again, city mayors and, governors that won't work with them and help them. If they don't want to help their constituents, there's not much he can do. Okay. I'm pretty upset that eggs are still almost $2 a dozen, but still cheaper. They were $5. Now they're under $2. Again, there's a win. That's $3 cheaper. Milk is cheaper than eggs almost. So, I mean, there's a little of everything. Mostly where I live, things have come down. But like I said, it just depends on the people that you vote for locally. That's why I said all elections matter, because the president isn't the only thing that affects your life. He affects the country's life. Our immediate problems are our city and our state representatives, the people that's our city councils, our commissioners, stuff like that. Mayor, governor, people like that. That's the people that really affect you. They're the elections you need to be showing up for that people don't want to show up for. And you get Mondami and this chick in Virginia. I can't pronounce her name, so that's why I haven't said her name. It took me a long time to say Mondami. I have a little bit of a what's it called? Not a lisp, but more of a what is it called? I'm trying to think what it's called. Stutter. So I can't say a lot of words because I have a little bit of a stutter. So anyway, this is why I'm saying, because the midterms are going to matter. Please, please do your research on the people you're going to vote for, and please vote. That's the main thing. Get out and vote. Especially if you're a Republican, please get out and vote. I'm going to be honest. A lot of these Republicans that are in the Senate and the House need to be voted out. And we need some real Republicans. We need some MAGA Republicans in the Senate and the House. These rhinos are killing us, because that's a lot of the problems that we're having with this country not being affordable, is they won't pass policies. They won't pass stuff. Like the SAVE Act was not anything to do with affordability, but that's our election integrity. Again, I just said they found all this election interference and fraud in Fulton County, Georgia. How much do you think they're going to find in California, Arizona, Pennsylvania, all these, states that were Michigan, all these purple states, I'll say, they're going to find lots of fraud. That's why they won't pass the SAVE Act for election integrity. I don't know. But honestly, fraud now, because we do know what's going on, is this much of the problem. Honestly, it really is. Because look what happened in 2024. There was fraud. They proved there was fraud. But Trump still won crazy amounts because people got out and vote. So that's more what it's about. It's vote, vote, vote. That's what it is. Mondami won because 20% of the people voted in the city. The governor won because 20% of the people voted. That's how these people win. More Democrats showed up than Republicans, so they won. 2 seats in Georgia flipped blue. They haven't been blue in 25 years. they were red seats for 25 years because Republicans didn't get out and vote. And they're commissioners, which is going to suck because that's taxes and regulations and stuff like that. They're the people that matter. I mean, the good thing is they're trying to get rid of property tax in Georgia. So we got that going. And again, only because we have our senators pushing for it. Which, for some reason, not sure why they weren't pushing for it before, but maybe because they're getting more courage because Trump's in there. And they're like, oh, now we might have a chance because we have a president that's going to back us. I don't know. This is stuff that mainstream media will not tell you. Okay. I know that's what my episode's supposed to be about. So I'm trying not to get off of that topic. They want Democrats to keep winning because they stay in power. They get a whole bunch of money when Democrats are in power because they pay them to say all kinds of things. They don't just stick with them, just stick with them. They get paid. And that's why you only hear parts of stories. You see clips of videos. You don't hear stories. That's why I'm just saying, do your research. Again, I don't know why I can't see some of these videos. Again, it might be like a pop-up blocker on here or something. I'm just using a laptop. I don't have any fancy equipment. I have a laptop, my phone, and this mic and these headphones. That's literally what I'm working with. So I'm learning literally every episode. I learn something new on what to do on certain things. So I'm sorry I couldn't find that video, but I'm going to be on here tomorrow. So I'm hoping I'm going to find the video because I'm going to show that video and I'm going to try to find a better video of the church and see if I can play that video. But I just want people to be informed and sorry, my dog barks at the neighbors all the time. Come on. Anyway, sorry. I just want you to be informed of what's going on and not listen to the craziness all the time. Some of this stuff's crazy. I mean, you can't hide it. Some of it's just absurd. The things that you see and hear, some of it is just like, I can't believe that's happening in the United States of America. Like the stuff that's going in Minnesota, I thought it was another country. I did not realize it was Minnesota. The one podcaster that I watch, he's in Minnesota right now. He said this is the worst city he's ever been in. And he travels all over the country to do news because that's what he does. He does the news. And he said that's the worst city he's ever been in. And that's saying he used to live in California. So we've got to be paying attention to what's going on and vote. And I'm sorry for people that are Democrats on here, but please stop voting Democrats in because that's why this country is looking like it is. I guarantee you, if you look up where all the rioting is going on, it's in a blue city. It's not going on where I live. Like I said, there was some protesters. They had some signs and that was it. That wouldn't go on here because the police will be locking them up. They will not put up with it. Not one bit. They will be on them like white on rice and they will be in jail. They will not deal with it here. And that's why I said it's only happening in blue cities. Portland, Chicago, Los Angeles, Minneapolis. You know, there was a little bit of rioting in Atlanta. Again, a blue city. We've got to vote these people out because they don't care about us. They don't care about their city. They care about power and money. And that's literally it. They don't care if we're safe. They actually want us to not be safe. honestly. That helps them because then we're looking to them for help. They think they're the savior. Nope, Jesus is the savior. Okay? We have people that help us, the law-abiding police, you know, but I mean, all the rioting and all this stuff is for no reason. You come here illegally, you get deported. It's simple as that. It's not rocket science. Come here legally. You won't get deported unless, now, let me tell you, if you are naturalized, it's very hard for you to get deported. You have to lie on your application. You have to lie about something that you did to become a citizen. Believe me, it's hard. It's not, oh, you're not from here and you commit a crime. If you're naturalized, it's very, very, very unlikely you're going to get deported. They cannot denaturalize you unless you lie. Like Ilhan Omar, whatever her name is. She lied and she should be deported. She should be getting denaturalized and being deported. And I'm hoping that's going to happen because she lied on her application. If you lie on your application, you can be denaturalized and deported. But if you do it the right way, you cannot be deported. No matter what, you're a naturalized citizen. You're a citizen just like I am, and I was born here. So you cannot be deported. For all the people that watch the mainstream media, they are not deporting American citizens, okay? Because you cannot. Again, unless they can prove that you lied on your application to become a citizen. That is the only way. Because once you're a citizen, you're a citizen. You're one of us. You can't just be thrown out. America has the greatest country. We have the greatest country, and we have specific laws that other countries don't have. Like I said, once you're nationalized, you're an American citizen, and even if you commit crimes, you're just going to be in jail here. It takes a lot to be denaturalized because everybody kept saying, I don't understand why they're not, you know, throwing Ilhan Omar or whatever out because she's a citizen. She's naturalized, but she did lie on her application. They just have to prove that she lied and then go through the process because it's a lot of process. Because I know there's a lot of people that are naturalized that think they're going to get deported. Stop listening to mainstream media. You cannot be deported because you are a naturalized citizen. You're a citizen just like me. I was born here. I'm a citizen. You're naturalized. You're a citizen. Now, if you're here on a visa, you're here on a green card, something like that, that's a different story. You're not a citizen. If you come here on a visa, a green card, and you commit a crime, you can be deported. Because why would you come here and commit a crime? You're in the greatest country in the world. Why would you do that? To come here, live a good life is what you came here for, right? I would assume you came here to have a better life, the American dream, right? Why would you come here and sell drugs, rape a woman, commit murder? Of course you're going to be deported at that point. You should be. But again, if you're a naturalized citizen, you cannot be deported. If you commit crimes, you're just going to go to jail, just like me. If I break the law, I'm going to jail. Okay? I'm going to be separated from my family. That's what happens when you break the law. For all the people that are crying about the people being separated from their families. Well, if you're here illegally and your kids were born here, you're going to be separated from your kids because you committed a crime. You're getting deported. Sorry. I know I sound insensitive, but there's people that waited in line to get here. There's a lot of people that did it the right way and waited in line to get here. And you're breaking the law to get here. Why should you be here? You shouldn't. I mean, I'm just being honest. As an American citizen, I don't want you here because you cheated the system. You're a cheater. There's people that waited in line because you have to be here 5 years before you can even apply to be a citizen. So you got a visa to get here or a green card. You did your time for 5 years. Then you have to start working the program to become a citizen. And then you have the people that just broke in the country. Well, not broke in, walked over the border when Joe Biden was president and got in for free. Had to do no work. Just walked right in, skipped the line. All the people that were waiting in line, you just skip right over them. Those people didn't matter. You know, it's like my daughter was dating a guy from Jamaica. Okay, he came here on a student visa. He graduated, not college. He graduated college, so then he had to work on being a citizen. Once he was here 5 years, then he can start working on being a citizen because he came here on a student visa. So then he was here 5 years. Then he could work on it. You have to do interviews. You have to get a sponsor. It's a lot of work. That's why I said, why should you be able to come in here illegally and skip the process? It's not fair to the people that do it the right way. And really, if these people self-deport, again, people don't know this. I just thought of this. People didn't know you can self-deport. You get $2,600 to self-deport and a free plane ride. If 2 adults in a house, they get $5,200 to go back to their country. And guess what? Then you can come back the right way. You're allowed to come back. No harm, no foul. You self-deport it. You got $2,600, $5,200 if you're a couple, and get to come back the right way. No harm, no foul. We won't even care. 2 million people did that. They self-deport it so they can come back the right way. Everything that happened is forgotten. You self-deport it, and now you can come back the right way. People don't even know that's an option. That's why I'm saying it. $2,600 plus a free flight home. And I think they probably give you a place to stay while you're waiting for your flight and all that. Feed you, all kinds of stuff. Because it's cheaper for you to self-deport than us to deport you. It's $17,000 for us to deport you. So you're saving us money if you self-deport, and you can come back. If you get deported, you can't come back. You're going to be on the no-fly list. You can't come back. So if you know anybody that needs to self-deport, let them know. $2,600 they can get to self-deport. So there's something also mainstream media is not telling. And apparently not any media, because people don't know that they can self-deport. There's an app. I forget what the app is. CPC or something. I guess you could look it up. And you can self-deport $2,600. So anyway, I've been talking a while. I'm going to get off of here so I can make dinner. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate everyone watching. Please like, share, comment. If you hated what I said, comment. If you love what I said, comment. I don't care. My feelings don't get hurt. I just love the feedback. And I will look up those videos to try to share the videos tomorrow of the ones I couldn't find today. Today I worked and I slacked a little bit. I won't lie on trying to find those videos. And like I said, I probably have some block ups on here, so I have to figure that out too, because I think that's why I couldn't get them. But thank you so much, and I hope that you have a great evening. I hope that you don't live in an area that's supposed to get bad weather, but it's supposed to be some more bad weather. I think here it will not. It didn't hit us last week. Last week we just got a whole bunch of rain. Today it was almost 50, so I am hoping we don't get any of it, but you never know because the pattern changes. I think it's going to hit like east of us. So I think it's supposed to hit North Carolina, South Carolina, places like that. I don't think it's going to hit us that much. Maybe, I don't know. But last week, I know back home got a foot. Sorry for all the snow. But down here, we just literally got rain. And so I'm hoping that might be the case this week. I am about to travel, so I'm hoping it does not have any effect on me traveling. But either way, I thank you so much for watching. Please like and share. Again, please comment. I don't care if it's, you hated what I said. I don't care. I honestly just want to hear your opinion about what you think. And again, especially if you didn't know any of this and you learned something, please let me know so I know that I am sharing information that helps someone, because that's really what I'm here for, is to share information that helps you, especially when it comes to voting. So thank you so much. I hope you have a great evening. Please stay safe if you're going to go out. I know because the weather's coming, the grocery store was crazy today. Shelves were getting empty. You know the deal. Get your bread, milk, and eggs. So just stay safe out there and